Well, hey there, welcome back to another episode here on Hall Family Farms. Today is Wednesday, December the 22nd, and I'm so glad you could join us. Unfortunately, I have some sad news to tell you. While my son and I were away visiting his grandparents in West Virginia, the temperatures overnight got very cold on Sunday and Monday while we were away, and I did not have my space heater plugged in, and it was dark, and my wife didn't want to go out when I called to ask if she would do that for us. So when we got back late Monday night, I immediately came out to check and survey the situation, and it didn't look good. I plugged in the heater hoping maybe, if there was any hope, maybe some of the things might survive. Unfortunately, I think most of the damage occurred on Sunday, and I think that the temperatures dropped into the low 20s, and we're going to verify that with our thermometer inside. So let me bring you in closer so you can see what I saw, and we're going to see if we can salvage any of the tender plants by maybe cutting them back very severely and hoping maybe they'll come back. So let me bring you in closer. Well, my space heater is running, so let me get the screen up so we can go inside and take a look. I think we can unplug our heater for now. Let me hang up my coat here. Okay, let me bring you in a little bit closer so you can see. Okay, so as you can see, the hanging basket with the sweet potato vines, they look to be dead. If you can see the coleus cuttings that we took, they look to be dead. We're going to cut them back though and see. I need to get my bucket here. We're going to have to do a lot of cutting, but it doesn't look good. Some of the things did survive. Obviously they're hardy enough to survive. So for example, you know, our Ozark Beauty strawberries, they're doing well. They weren't harmed. They're blooming. We've even got strawberries growing here. This one probably be ready to eat here in another day or two. Some of our perennial plants that we have in here that we haven't planted out yet, they need some pruning of dead leaves, but these are the Rebecca or Black-Eyed Susan, and they are doing well. So I guess the first thing, we'll start with these coleus, and I think it's pretty safe to say that they're probably gone, but we'll cut them all the way back and see. We will definitely put these in the compost. Maybe if there's some life in the roots, maybe they'll come back. Maybe. Alright, so we'll do that to each one of these. Okay, I got all of the coleus cut back. I don't know, we're gonna see if any of these will spring back. Even if we can just get one to come back, then we could take cuttings from that and repopulate these solo cups. One of the surprises, actually, this is the only cutting that survived of the stevia that Rob and Deb sent me, and it's doing well. It's not growing very quickly, but it has put on a lot of new growth and doesn't seem to have been stunted or hurt by any shape of the imagination there. Our petunias are all doing well. I'm going to go ahead and cut back these strawberry runners. Clean that up. Alright, what else we got? So we've got some petunias growing up here. Alright, we're going to cut this back. There could be some hope, maybe. So let's cut this back. We'll get it outside to give it a good drink. It looks like there's still some green growth here. Let me move the camera a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's finish pruning this basket. Let me bring my bucket over here closer. It could spring back. It's very dry. I think if we give it some water, maybe some fertilizer. There's some little signs of life here, maybe. All right. So I'm going to move this out so we can give it a good drink of water. Okay, as you can see, the tomatoes got hit probably the hardest. I'm hoping the bananas will come back. I'm going to trim off those damaged leaves. So let me get in here. Let me make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So let's take a look over here. Alright, so now you can see. So I'm hoping that there's still life in the stalk. I'm going to trim back these leaves. Alright. So we'll see. Hopefully those will come back. This pepper looks like it may have some life in it still. Don't know. I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'll trim the dead leaves off here. We got a lot of red cherry tomatoes here to harvest. So we'll see, there may be some hope here for this California Wonder green pepper. I see some green leaves down here at the very bottom. I may just go ahead and top this plant and see if we can get it to shoot out some new leaves. Alright, this is our Sun Gold cherry tomato. I don't know, I'm going to prune that back and hope for the best. This one was already starting to produce a little tomato. We're going to go ahead and cut that off. Cut that off and hope maybe there's still some life there. Our petunias are still doing well. I don't know about these tomatoes though. I just don't know. This tomato, I think, here is going to be probably okay. It seems to be pretty hardy, actually. We've got some tomatoes here. These are overdone. So we didn't get out here and get them picked. Alright, I don't know. We'll see. I think we're just going to have to cut this back here and see what happens. Well, we got some nice looking tomatoes there, so we'll harvest those. That actually had some green growth. Maybe I plucked that prematurely. Maybe that's a good sign the roots are good and they'll come back. So yep, so we'll set those aside to harvest. But the idea of cutting the back is to try to take some stress off the plant so it's not spending its time trying to bring back to life the structure, the leaves and the branches that have died. So I think we've got that all back to the stalk, so hopefully that'll come back. Alright. I don't know, these tomatoes just don't look good. We can harvest the tomatoes that are large enough and take them in, and maybe they'll continue to ripen. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those off. We'll set those aside here and hope that maybe they'll ripen over the next few days. I think we're just going to have to probably go back to the drawing board here. Another nice little tomato. Alright, now let's take a look at this coleus. Now, we have some hope here. This is the mother plant of the other coleuses that I had taken cuttings from, and we do have some life here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the main stalks back. That looks to be good. Alright. Give them a root pruning too. This probably could use a bigger pot. Okay, so we do have some life here, so I'm going to put that on our shelf over here. Let me cut off some more of these dead leaves. Alright, I think I'm going to leave the rest of that. Alright, I think I'm going to take this out to the table so we can take a better look at it. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. I mean, it looks like there's some life down here, so let's see if we can find it. Alright, so it's looking better. Things always look better in the daylight, right? They always look worse when it's dark. So and as long as I can get one of each of these, I think there's maybe 3 or 4 different varieties of coleus in here. If I can get one of each to survive and we can get through the winter, we'll be able to propagate that through cuttings. So, okay, so it's not as bleak as it initially looked. All right. So we'll give this a good drink and maybe give it some fertilizer to get it started again. So we're going to leave that here. Let me go in and see what else we can bring out to take a look at. Okay, let's take a look at our next victim here. It's like triage for plants, so we'll set our coleus to the side here. So what we have here, I grew up knowing this plant by the name Moses in the Cradle, and some people know it as purple heart plant because of the pretty flowers. You can see we've got some flowers here. I think the actual name of this plant is called Triage. So it is a tropical plant. You can grow it outdoors in the summertime, but it does not like cold temperatures, as you can see. I also have a sweet potato vine, and I think it may have lived. So we're going to cut this back. This plant is way overdue for a haircut. It really could stand a repotting. I just have not had the time and to really take care of this thing the way it needs to be taken care of. So we'll go ahead and prune these back. I know it looks drastic getting rid of some of these that are flowering, but we need to take some of the pressure off of it here. I think there's still some life in this sweet potato vine. And I like this one. This one's called, I think, Little Blackie is the name of it. It's got a pretty leaf on it. So we'll try to see if we can salvage that. Okay, this looks better. It's not perfect, but it's better. And I think we're gonna just keep it in this pot for now, and then we may get it out later and subdivide it. I did take a cutting, and I got this we can try to propagate as well. So let me get some water and see what we can do here. Alright, I got a cup of warm water. Stick this sweet potato vine and this Moses in the cradle cutting there. So we'll let those absorb. Here I have a chrysanthemum that I got on sale. This one's called a red mum. That's it. Sounds pretty generic, actually. We're going to go ahead and cut off the tops here. Give it a haircut. Okay, that looks pretty good, actually. I think I'm going to leave that just the way it is. We'll get those other mums that are in there, give them a haircut. We'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, we've got a couple other mums here. Again, this one's called Purple. Got purple flowers. As you can see, it's still actually flowering some here. The frost didn't quite take it out. But we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a haircut. And this one is called Pink. It has pink flowers. Okay, so as we bring this episode to a close, it wasn't as bad as I thought originally when I got here Monday evening. I think it was about 11:30 when we pulled in the driveway. Immediately came out here to see and get a status check on the greenhouse. I really thought I'd lost everything, and that's not always the case. You know, you take one thing and you generalize it, you're usually wrong. And so I appreciate Rob giving me the courage to come out here and kind of start pruning things back and taking a closer look, and doing that and taking that excellent advice. It looks like we really only lost the tomatoes, and who knows, maybe they'll sprout up from roots. I'm going to leave the roots in the pot for now while we get some seeds started, so who knows, maybe it's just a setback. But tomatoes are pretty easy to grow, so we can do that, and we have the seeds for those varieties that we were growing, so shouldn't be a problem. But I did want to show you, I was looking at our temperature gauge here, and let me bring you in so you can see. So right now we're at 53 degrees outside. Indoor temperature in the greenhouse is 80 degrees, but you can see right there that the overnight was the overnight was 22 degrees outdoor, 24 indoor, and that's what did the damage. So you live and you learn. Now that I'm retired, I usually just unplug the space heater, and that's what I did. I think when we left on Saturday, we had overnight temperatures, if you can believe it, 64 degrees. So Saturday wasn't a problem, and I just figured I could call my wife on Sunday and have her run out here and plug that in, so that we're not having any risk. I saw the temperatures were going to be in the low 20s, and as you can see, 22 for an outdoor temperature. And without that space heater, it got down to 24. So that's what did it. So we've learned from this experience. We may install at some point here a timer, maybe. See if we can do that so it kicks on during the nighttime hours. So with that being said, we're going to bring this to a close. Please be safe out there. If you're not already a follower and a subscriber of our channel, please give that some consideration. Help support us. And if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up. And if you like what we're doing, if you click that notification bell, YouTube will always notify you when we upload new content. So with that being said, take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.